So thank you very much, and thank you everybody for coming. More specifically, I want to thank my colleagues who heard I'm going to give a talk somewhere and they said we just have to come. Collins Ondago is my deputy director at the university, and Dr. Evelyn Dacha is the chair of department at the university. So I really appreciate, because I'm sure you had a lot of things to do in the office. So I'll just share my story starting from where I began. As most of you know, the director JKUAT, that is what most people know, but I'll try to give my experiences through what I've been through life. Of course, it has not been easy. At least my colleagues know. I share some of these experiences with them. I also made a request to Vincent that I do a PowerPoint presentation. I think because I'm a teacher at the university, that is what we normally do, rather than me reading papers and talking and doing on. So when Vincent called me this year, I think we had a careers day at the university, and he asked me that you need to be the person to grace 2020. And 2020 is a big thing for me. And of course, I had to come with my bodyguard, who is my son at the back there. Okay, yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for coming. Of course, the title was Fired Up. What makes me fired up? At the campus, I'm told the SGR wagons that carry everybody and pushes them all through. I'm one person who is very energetic in what I do. Maybe because I'm still young. I heard him saying, the young people, maybe, but I'm not quite sure. But I'll just give a few key lessons and experiences that I've been able to go through. Of course, I've been in Mombasa for 10 years. This is my 10th year. Came in 2000, I think November 2009. The campus started. And what happened is that I came in later. What I want to state is that I came in not as a full-time lecturer. And this is quite encouraging, especially to the young people who think that you have to get a job immediately. I had two offers to begin with. I had an offer. I used to work with IEBC, which is the Interim Boundaries Review Commission, on contracts. I would be with the Chilobays and the other people. That is where I would be working with. And they gave me an offer because I'm the only one who was doing a master's, and JKUAT was opening their branches in Mombasa. And I had to follow my passion because I love to teach. I had taught in high school. I'll give my experiences. And I said, yes, I'll come. And the director told me, you're going to come on as a part-time lecturer. And I had to make that decision. So I came to Mombasa as a part-time lecturer, started teaching, and all the way up, I'll share some of those things with a lot of challenges. Now, I want to begin with a quote, and I want to say that it doesn't matter where you're coming from. Some of us might look at ourselves and look at the village where we come from and wonder, will I make it to be somebody? It doesn't matter where you're coming from. All that matters is where you're going. That's the most important thing. Some of us look at ourselves and ask, like I was in a village. I come from Embu. I knew nobody in government, knew nobody in the university. In fact, in my village, I might be the only one with a PhD. And to show you that, I can tell you where I've come from. Look at those photos. This is me in 1988. Please don't start counting my age. This is me and my brother. I was in class 3. A small village girl who didn't know that you can make it to be a university, sit with a professor. I didn't even know what is a professor. I could not believe that I could make it to be a somebody. I retrieved these photos when Vincent told me, and the beauty, my mom always records the photos. You know the way our parents, when we take, they used to write at the back. I flipped and I got the exact date, 6 November 1988. And this was January 1992 when I was in class 3. If anybody told me I would be a director of JKUAT, would I believe? No. So that's why I put that quote, and I've said, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. The key focus is where you're going. Question is, do we have a purpose, a plan of where we're going? That's the most important thing. Now, growing up, I want to say I was an average child. Of course, I did well in school. I can't say I was doing badly. I was from an average family. We didn't do holiday trips. We didn't, in Embu, we just stayed in the village. I went to average schools. I interacted with normal village kids. I'm a village girl. That is what I want to say. And I was brought up by parents who were teachers. My mom retired, and she was a primary school teacher. My dad, a high school teacher. And so these are people who are disciplinarian. You understand those who have been brought up by teachers. Dr. Dache was one in high school. You know how parents are. For me, I'm the only girl in a family of 2 boys, so we are 3, and I'm in the middle. So basically, all house chores are meant to be me doing them. And one case is where my mom would not allow us to peep outside the gate. You know the way kids peep in the village? You are peeping neighbors who are passing. Niko najipata na mwiko. In fact, that we were told is bad manners. You don't peep at strangers. But nowadays in the estate, I see kids just peeping all over. Even in your own house, they just pop in without knocking. So brought up by parents. So the highest I thought I would go, maybe a primary school teacher or a high school teacher. Because that's a kind of motivation that I would get because of the people I socialized around, where I was within the society. So, of course, interesting childhood experiences. Taken to boarding school at class 4, all the way to class 8. My parents would leave me and I would start crying. My dad had a red pickup, KSA, Chevrolet, I remember it. And in our boarding school, when I was taken, anytime I would see him speeding off the gate, I would start crying. And the teachers would ask, what is the issue? Are you not given pocket money? But you see, it's the loneliness. You're feeling, it's like they are dumping me. I didn't know they were molding me. I thank God for going to a boarding school, which is something I want to take my son there. Just to have a personality, to go through life and understand how life should be. If I didn't go through that, I think I would be different. Now, I'll talk about 5 key lessons, relating them with my story. The first one is, what are you passionate about? I'll give a bit of my story on the same. Number 2, I want to look at giving up your fears and not your dreams. I'll also share a bit of my things that you don't know, especially the fears that I had. Number 3, I want to talk about realigning our mindsets. I'm happy somebody mentioned it as we introduce ourselves. And then your network is your worth. And then lastly, I want to say that you need to seek God's intervention. I believe I'm not where I am because of my might. There is a supernatural being that has helped me be. So those are the only key things that I want to discuss about and summarizing my life and my story to where we have been. So let me begin with the first one, which is about being passionate. And the first one is about, what are you passionate about? If I look at this room, I'm seeing people who have done different things in life. You've done different courses. I look at Otumbo Vincent here. He's very passionate about what he does. Ignoring your passion is the start of death. We are calling it slow suicide. Following what you want to do, the moment you realize what is it that I'm passionate about, is the day you hit your jackpot. For me, I knew I wanted to teach. But I always told God, please help me not just to be a primary school teacher or high school teacher. But I didn't know how to get to the university until I got to the university. Now, what was my passion? I remember when I finished high school, I would teach in my primary schools in the village. Went to high school. When I finished, I was also called back to teach in my high school. Went to the university. During long holidays, I would go back, volunteer sometimes to teach. It's something I love. And I think recently somebody asked me, if you're not teaching, what else would you do? I think we're discussing it in the office with Akina Collins. And they told me, if you're given this big bank position, would you do it? I told them no. It's not about the money. I would not love the job. First of all, I would be fired day one. Why? Because how we work at the university, we are very flexible. Banks, I'm not against anybody working at the bank, please. Routine and procedures. I like where I meet people. For example, I meet somebody new, tell me you have an issue. When she talked about, has anybody received gratitude, before I just came here, one parent just wrote me an email, a mother. One student who has taken too long to graduate at our campus. Supplementary issues and other issues. Dr. Dache helped. I was able to intervene. And this boy, the mother wrote me an email saying, I'm so really grateful for your intervention. My son is now finally going to graduate. An email I got just before I left home to come here. To me, that is very important. Never ignore what your heart pumps, because that is what gives you adrenaline to do whatever you love each and every day. Now, note this. Mold your career around your lifestyle, not your lifestyle around your career. Most of us are doing it this way. Some of us now look for the job, okay, accounting and what? We start creating interest in it, balancing books of account. It is not working for me because you don't love what you do each and every day. Mold your career around your life. What is it that I love to do? Pick it up and see how you can grow. I'm so encouraged by you, Vincent. But he was my student, if you don't know. But he's doing beautiful things. He's doing great things. You're impacting life, Vincent. I was talking to a few students and they told me how you've been able to mentor a number of people. I think last week, is it last week or the other week, we were talking was in Kichaka Simba, a school that we mentored. You'll be seeing some of the photos I put here. Through his initiative. Touching lives. He is the person that has made us to be here today. Would be either, some of us would be taking one drink for the road somewhere. Others would be slaying somewhere, I don't know. Others would be just wasting time with our families. But you brought us here. So I think we need to appreciate him with a good clap because you've done well. And one of the things, I think you found your passion. This is what you're passionate about. And when you are passionate about something, you mold your career towards that. Now, ask yourself, what am I working for? What am I working for? How happy am I? Some of us look at the clock and say, it's Monday. I'm going to meet that boss again. Some of us look at the clock, it's 5. We leave everything we are doing. When it's 4:49, some of us at the dot and you had a report to do, unaachilia tu hapo, tutapatana lini? Monday. But if you're passionate about what you do, you can always extend because you love. So what I'm basically saying, how happy are you with your current job? I might be talking to people who are employed. I might be talking to people doing businesses. What is it that, whatever you're doing, she does other things, but also water, clothes. As an entrepreneur, do you love what you do? Or is it, inaitwa kismat, ulijipata na biashara, unasukuma tu, kile kinauzwa Mombasa unatafuta tu. You know, you must be passionate about what you do. If I could be doing anything I wanted, what would it be? So these are just questions that you can reflect on yourself. And is there a way I can make a transition to something new? I always say, if you can change, please change. It is not too late. You better define the goal and the passion of what you want to be. When I was doing my Form 4, my dad told me something. I was not doing very well in maths. And he told me, even if you got an A and you get an E in mathematics, you will not step foot in the university. So I got scared. I asked him, even if I have an A, I can't mathematics. Guys, I read that mathematics. These, you might be young people, but as you remember, we had section A and section B. The section A was a few other mathematics that were a bit complicated. B was something you used to draw a graph. I think it was 10 or 15 marks. Nilianzia na hiyo. Because I knew if I get 15 marks there, I add another 15, that is 30. E was what that time? So kuna CBC, so we don't know what they are doing. But I made sure that I don't get an E. Now, about your work is going to fill a large part of your life. Look at us like now who are working. Each and every day we wake up and go to work. How much of our time do we spend with our families? Let's look at it in an average, in a day. For example, if you're working with your family 2 hours. But the largest percentage of our time we spend with who? Our colleagues. Imagine you're doing something you don't love. So your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Perfect. To love what you do. Now, and the only way to great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found the great work, please keep looking. These are not my words. Please keep looking. Don't settle. Now, because I have this job, if I resign, Kenya kuna coronavirus, the locusts are everywhere, Mombasa situation economica is not okay, you know? Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you all know where to find. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking until you find. Don't do what? Don't settle. Some of us are in the jobs where we are right now because we think we have no option. Now, number 2, do not give up on your dreams. Give up on your fears. Now, fear has 2 meanings. 1, forget everything and run. Okay, I don't know which is your option, 1 or 2. Number 2, face everything and rise. The choice is yours. Are you picking 1 or are you picking 2? Some of us fear the unknown. We had PhD presentations yesterday. Dr. Dache can attest. One lady who is doing a PhD could not stand to speak. Dr. Dache can confirm. I'm happy she's here because I'm explaining things that are real. So she spoke on the slide standing like this. And these are PhD students, my friends. So I asked her, is there a problem? Are you not feeling well? You can sit. She said, I'm fearing. So I asked her, PhD level, surely should you fear? I asked her, what is the worst case scenario? And that is what I take in life. If I'm walking into anybody's office, including the governor, what is the worst case scenario the governor can do to me? Say no. Or close the door. Or say, I will not be able to see you. 2007. And like I said, all my 5 friends got jobs. I didn't. And I put it very well. Now I started giving up and asking, what is it that they have that I don't have? I felt I was not good enough for the market, including a TSC job. Imagine, TSC. They could not even give me a TSC number. Now, today they can come. If they came, they will speak well because now there's a doctorate. Are you getting my point? So what I did is I developed a low self-esteem and low and confidence level. Low self-esteem. In fact, my confidence level went too low. These people don't know. They always say, you're very confident. They don't know where nimetoka. It went so low after graduating, wondering, why did I spend 4 years of reading, going to the library? Did I really deserve it? So my confidence went so low that I said, I'm not going to apply for those jobs. Whichever that is going to come my way, let it come. Now, I enrolled for my master's immediately. I've never been to JKUAT. Ever. I was at KU. So I enrolled somebody, Dr. Mbogwe is one of my mentors, and he's the late. I think we buried him late last year. We lost him. But he brought me a newspaper cutting about doing a master's in entrepreneurship. First of all, I could not pronounce the word entrepreneurship, to be honest. So he told me, I want you to apply this course at JKUAT. I told him, I've never been to JKUAT. What is this that you're telling me? So I enrolled. Remember, this time I have no job. So I asked him, how am I supposed to pay for my master's? I convinced my parents and they took a loan. My mom took a loan. You know, mothers with their children, with their daughters. I said, I want to do this master's. I thought maybe that is the only avenue I'm going to get a job. We were a group of I think 10. One working at AEABL, I still know them, Motegi, my good friend. One working at Kabeta Technical, Anne, and other people, Mangu, other teachers. So in class, when the lecturer gave an assignment, because I was very free, I used to do everything and finish. Now, there's a unit called consultancy, and that's why my passion for consultancy came. Who taught us? Dr. Fred Mugambi. They know. Dr. Fred Mugambi is the one who happened to be the founding director of JKUAT Mombasa campus. How things work. So in class, he came and taught us consultancy, and he was a young lecturer, and he used to come with a soda to class, and he said, this is so swaggish. Lecturers come, you can talk as you're drinking something. He said, please carry your waters, your juices, feel free. We're here to interact as we learn. I found that very interesting. So in class, he told us, develop a consulting proposal. Part 1. Mimi nilienda nikaitafuta. Sikuwa najua ni nini. I researched in the library. I brought. He marked. Akakuja class. Akauliza, who is Fridah? I said, it's me. Where did you get the consulting proposal? I told him, sir, I researched in the library. Are you sure you never copied? I told him, no. What are you currently doing? Unajifanya uko relevant. So I'm just doing some researches. Which kind of research? Hakuna kitu. I just told him, you know, the other students would give me some work in the library, give me a few coins, you know. So one day, he came with a consulting job for KESI, Kenya Education Staff Institute. And he said, we are looking for national, that time is Nairobi province, coordinators to work with me for the consultancy job. Anybody would be interested? I raised my hand. I didn't even know what it entailed because I needed something to do. So I raised my hand and we started doing the assignment. I would meet professors, doctors, used to work with other guys from KEMU. So he put me as the coordinator Nairobi province. Who can guess what was my first paycheck? Good, because I said it another day. I was paid a check of 70,000. Nikasema, ya. Nikamsa, are there others that you want us to continue working with you? Because that means my fees for the next semester was paid. That is how God works. Sometimes you might lose, guys, but God works in a very miraculous way. I got 70,000. I was like, please, in case you have any other thing, consult me. I'm available. We did Kenya Education Staff Institute. We finished. We did OVOP, One Village, One Product, which was funded by Japanese on Village. I bought my first fridge. I can be proud of that. I bought my first seat in the... I started growing. Are you getting my point? Now, immediately the former Vice Chancellor said, we need to start a campus in Mombasa. Okay? You can see how things are flowing. I already know Dr. Mugambi. We have already worked with him. Professor Buisa, they know Professor Buisa, who was among the professors, said, I have some consulting to do teaching of entrepreneurship in Kenyan universities. Who is willing? Prof, I already have experience working with Kenya Education Staff. Okay, you are on board. Are you getting my point? Sometimes God opens ways in so many. So I lost a lot of money. I didn't have a job. I was giving up. You always learn a lot more when you lose than when you win. That's an African proverb. I learned the hard way. I was able to humble myself. I was able to volunteer. I didn't know what it entailed, but it opened a lot of doors for me and opportunities for me. Now, a hungry stomach, an empty pocket, a broken heart can teach you the best lessons of life. I think I've gone through that. When you do not have something to put in your stomach, when you have an empty pocket, like what I did, and some of us who have gone through heartbreaks and heart attacks and whatever, I think you have learned. You are now wiser in your next relationship. You are more wiser when you got the money on how to spend, and even in terms of food. This is an African proverb. Okay? So I went through all those things. I learned. Now, immediately, I remember when Mugambi was sent by the Vice Chancellor, I saw a notice on the notice board, because still I was a student. Mombasa campus is being opened. But I've ever thought of being in Mombasa? Never. How? From Embu to Mombasa? How? Even how do you access? But I remember we had come for the first trip when I was a small girl, class 4, at Mamba. I should have put that photo, where Mamba, the crocodile. I remember everybody used to take a photo there. That's the only one. But I got so sick with malaria and I went back. So I've never thought I would ever work in Mombasa. So I saw the notices, and I think that's the time IEBC was starting. We worked with Commissioner Kagudi, Commissioner Rosa Buyu, but it was on contract terms. And it's because I had a master's. I think a friend referred me to it. Mugambi called and asked me, we are starting a campus in Mombasa. Would you want to be an administrator? They wanted an administrator because when you're starting something, you don't bring everybody on board. I told him, no. Me, I want a lecturer. Do you have a lecturing position? Kaniambia, Fridah, administrator. Nikamwambia hapana. Mimi nimesoma kuwa mwalimu, nataka kuwa mwalimu. They hired Dr. Agri Wanyama. I lost the chance because that was not what I was passionate about. I wanted to teach. That is what I knew. So I lost the job. I didn't come. And I continued. He came to Nairobi as we were doing the consultancy. I remember we met at Utali. He called me, can we meet at Utali? Aish. Utali. I asked him, are you sure of where? I was not driving. I'm using a matatu on Thika Road. What time? 5. You know, him is driving. So I had to make sure I leave Juja mapema nifike pale. But you see, I was also wondering now, loitering and idling is a problem in these hotels. What will I say I'm going to do? So I arrived. I said I was waiting to see a Dr. Mugambi. That time it was a Mr. Mugambi. I think he had not graduated also. So I called him. I told him, I'm at the gate. Is it possible? Yeah, just wait for me. So I had to sit strategically somewhere waiting. The things we go through. To wait for him. We discussed. And he asked me, now we have opportunities for lecturers. But you'll not be hired on full-time or contract. You'll be a part-timer. So I asked, part-timing, but I'm coming to live in Mombasa. How? So you'll not be paying me? No. I didn't even understand how part-timing was working. But I told him, here is a letter from IEBC, and they are giving me a contract for 2 years, and they are paying me better. You are telling me you are not giving me anything. I have to wait for 4 months. Surely. So you better go with this one, I'm getting something. He told me, but you told me you want to teach. Come on board. As you come on board, we will to get you on board. I used Modern Coast. I came, I met him at 1 o'clock. I think I came at night, slept in a hotel, I think in Kanjoni somewhere. I don't know where, I can't even quite trace. Walked to the campus, asked, I want to see the director. Imagine at the reception. Can I speak to the director? Who are you? That was Dr. Irene. Irene is she's not my assistant registrar. Who are you? Oh, yeah. The director had mentioned about you. Okay. Went to see Mugambi. I think we sat only for like 20 minutes. I asked, is this what he was calling me to? From Nairobi all the way. Couldn't he tell me on phone? So they were doing, those days we used to do unit allocation in a room, if you remember. We sit all of us together and we float the units like on the screen. And somebody says, I can teach that unit. That is how we used to do it those days. Now, me, I'm from Nairobi. I don't know anybody. I cannot start lifting my hand, say, I can teach that. I've never even taught in the university. Where do you start? So apparently, that's why I'm saying have people who can mentor you and guide you. So you can start with development studies and communication skills. Because at the university, that's what I've done. As we nurture you through to see how you can do it. I was quite inquisitive. I asked for materials. How do you do the course outlines? Learning from him and so on. So I went through the hard way without a paycheck. Had to move here full-time from Nairobi. Didn't know how to meet my bills. I stayed in Kingorani. I still remember that place. So anyway, life went on and I started teaching. Okay? So a hungry stomach, an empty pocket, and a broken heart can teach you the best lessons for life. Now look at this. If you cry because the sun has gone out of your life, your tears will prevent you from seeing the stars. If I sat down and started whining about my many problems and the challenges that I faced, I don't think I would have taken the bold step to come to. Because of course I had many tears, I had many worries, and to me, the sun had gone out of my life. I would not say I'm the person among the people that got the sunshine at that time. Success is not about how much money you make, how many titles you attain, how many stamps you get on your passport to show how many countries you've flown. Success is the difference that you make in people's life. And that is what we are told when you attain your doctorate. When you attain your PhD, you're told, what is the difference that you're going to make in people's lives? That is what is the most important challenge. Now, the power of networking, of course, I did a lot of networks. I can tell you, I'm networking with people, and maybe that is why I'm also here. Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't. True or not? Si tumeona hata hapa. The game she has taught us today will be a replica in my trainings and at the university. I'm sure we have learned. True or not? Yeah. I didn't know about it. I've learned something. Everyone you meet, there's something. Like now, that's a game I've learned. So to me, I'm showing you all these photos, not for any other reason, but to tell you networking can move you places. It can change. For me, it has changed my life, I can say. Most of the opportunities I've gotten is because of networking. So as I close, my conclusion, everybody has a unique gift. Everybody in this room has a unique gift and talent that God has put in our lives so that we can be able to impact other people. The question is, what is your gift? Ask God, of course, if you don't know, for guidance and intervention. What is it that you can do for this country with our gifts? Don't say what most people say. What can this country do for me? Because that's what we normally ask. What is it that you can do? One is too small a number to achieve what? Greatness. We need to be, all of us, to be able to achieve what we really want. For those that are Christians, please read Hebrews 6:10. Hebrews 6:10. It will tell you that whatever you've been doing, it's not in vain. You'll be rewarded. And I'm sure it's the same even for the Muslim brothers and sisters. Whatever you do, it's not in vain. God sees what we do, and He will definitely reward. Don't feel like you are doing too much. Sometimes in JKUAT, I feel like I'm giving too much to them. But I'm always reminded that whatever I do, it's not in vain. One day, God will reward us for that. So as I close, I want to say, life is very short, as you can see. Break your silly egos. Sorry, I'm using a bad word. Silly egos. Sometimes we have small egos that make us, I cannot clean. I cannot carry a seat. I cannot call and type. Silly egos. Forgive quickly. Sometimes don't not hold grudges. This is what our heart is heavy. I wish I had more time, I would talk more. Holding a glass, even if it's empty for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you get tired. That is what we do with our hearts. Let's learn to forgive quickly. Believe slowly. Believe slowly. Things will build up. Love truly. She said we have not been appreciated this week. Yeah, true. Done a lot. Sometimes we are not. Laugh loudly, like Collins dance in the office until everybody can hear. And never avoid anything that makes you smile. Never avoid anything that makes you smile. So let's try to live, because you can see life is very short. My son already told me I'm here, so you can see how much more that I have remaining for my career. So let's live our lives impacting other people, being happy of what you've done, and touching a life. That is the most important thing, and that is what gives me joy each and every day to wake up and walk to that university. So thank you very much.